Let's move on to part 3 of chapter 10. Converting from classes to interfaces. You can convert from a class type to an interface type provided the class implements the interface. A measurable variable can refer to an object of type bank account because bank account implements the measurable interface. A measurable variable can refer to an object of the country class because that also implements the measurable interface. A measurable variable an object of the rectangle class because rectangle doesn't implement measurable. Variable has type bank account. Variable has type measurable can only invoke getMeasure. It can't see any of bank account's other methods. Two references to the same object, but an interface reference can refer to an object of any class that implements the interface but can only see the interface methods. Method calls on an interface reference are polymorphic. The appropriate method is determined at runtime. Method to return an object with the smallest method, getMeasure2, we can cast from an interface to a specific class. By doing that, we can actually access details of the class and still call the actual methods. So here, for example, you could create two methods that implement measurable and then send them in, and it will return the right value without knowing which, but out here, you can use the other fields. You know that max refers to a country object, but the compiler doesn't. The solution is you cast it. That way you can use getName. You need a cast to convert from an interface to a class type. If you are wrong and max doesn't refer to a country, the program is going to throw an error. Person object is actually a superhero. You need to cast before you can apply any superhero method. Comparable interface is in the standard Java library. A comparable interface has a single method, compare2. The call method a compare to b. Compare method returns a negative number if a is less than b, 0 if a equals b, and plus greater than 1 if greater than 0 if b should come before a. Implement the comparable interface so objects of your class can be compared, for example, using sort. Bank account class implements comparable like this. Cast it to a bank account. If balance is less than other balance, return -1. Return greater than 1 if the left is greater than right, otherwise return 0. To get a bank account, we have to cast it. Because the bank account class implements the comparable interface, you can sort an array of bank accounts with the arrays.sort method as long as they implement comparable. Now the accounts array is sorted by completing the increasing balance. How can you sort an array of country objects? By increasing area. Have the country class implement comparable and call arrays.sort. Can you use arrays.sort method to sort an array of string objects? Yes, you can, because string implements comparable. Can you use arrays.sort to sort an array of rectangle objects? Rectangle doesn't implement comparable. Write a method max that finds the larger of any two comparable objects. Say we take two comparables and a compared to b is greater than 0, return a, otherwise return b. Call to the method that computes the larger of two bank accounts, then prints its balance. The result must be compassed from comparable to bank account so you can invoke the getBalance.